friends. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. It's Thursday morning. It's 11 o'clock. It's still morning, right? Thursday morning in Oklahoma. I am so glad you're joining us. Give me 1 second. Maybe give me 1 second and I'll find it. Okay. Fantastic. Hi, babe. So welcome to Online Success. We are in the middle of a, 12-week thing of of me going back and looking at 12 years I've been in the business and all the lessons that I learned from that. And I will tell you, some of it kind of messy. like we're on year 2 today and it's a little bit messy. So hold on, let me get my notes and then we'll just get started. While I'm doing that, I'd love to know where you're from. And I just realized today I did not post a reminder that we were coming live today at 11. So if you're watching live, I'm so glad that you are. If you're watching the replay, that's amazing too. You have found yourself at Online Steps to Success. My name is Allison Dahlke, and I am so glad that you're here. So our goal every week is to help you dream bigger, work smarter, change yourself, and change the world. So we're going to dive right in today because I am really going to try, that's the key word, try to cut this down to 30 minutes. I have a long-standing, running total of going in an hour over and over again. We're really going to try to go 30 minutes today. So I'd love to know where you're from. I think I already said that, but I would still love to know. Why can I not see comments? It's real annoying. Actually, I already decided I'm not looking at comments. Because I don't know how to use Facebook. Now I got it. Okay, so I'd love to know where you're watching from. If you're watching the replay later, I'd love to know that too. However you're watching, I'm glad that you're here. So I'm not going to watch comments today. I'm going to try something out. I'm going to see if I can get through content quicker if I don't. But Brian is at a coffee shop down the street, and he's going to reply to some of your comments and do some responding like that. Okay? So let's dive in. We're going to dive in and get started. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Allison Dahlke, like I mentioned before, and I've been in direct sales for the past 12 years. 12 and a half years, 12 and a half. And we are right at the beginning of a series where I'm going to go back through each year that I've been in the business. I'm going to pull out the good and the bad and the ugly and the lessons and the beautiful. We'll look for the mistakes and the grace and all of that and share it with you. So this week we're looking back at year 2 of me being in the business. And you guys, this one was messy. I told Brian today, I'm like, I am just having the hardest time because I can see the lessons for me. My dog's freaking out. Can you stop? There's nothing. I can look back and see the lessons for me very clearly, but I'm like, I don't know how it pertains to them. So we're going to see what happens. Maybe it'll help you. Maybe it won't. I think that it will, but we're going to get started. Before we really dive into week 2 though, or year 2, I need to know, I need you guys to know that today's training and all of our training is really for those of you who are in this. It's for those of you who are here to grow yourself and your business, and you're choosing to be bold about it. I think I made clear, good Lord, dog. I don't have a dog handler because Brian's at a coffee shop. Why you don't need to go out there? Is it because I'm talking to somebody now that you think you gotta fine, I'm gonna throw out that. Go ahead. She's probably gonna go be naughty. So I think last week I talked a little bit about the hobbyists and how I said last year in general, I really slipped into enabling. I enabled a little bit. I let you get by with sliding through things and not really doing things. And I just want you to know, you got a new Allison, and I just can't sit for it anymore. So I was thinking about the hobbyists today. Well, I've just been thinking about the hobbyists for a while. And I made it clear I'm not going to babysit anymore, that this training is really for those of you willing to do the hard work that it takes to grow a business. And I had this thought, and I'm going to ask if you consider yourself a hobbyist. And I would define a hobbyist as someone who isn't actively growing their business. They're just doing it for fun or in their spare time. Hobbyists usually don't have active goals that they're working towards. They just don't look at this business as a business. It's just a fun side thing, right? So, but if that's you, I want to ask you why you're here. If we sat down to coffee, I would sit and I would ask you the same thing. Because I'm going to go out on a limb and make a guess that if you do consider yourself a hobbyist, but you're here, I think there's more inside you. I think you know it, and I think it scares you. And I'm going to tell you today that there is more inside you. And if you want to make this business work, you absolutely can. But you're going to have to be bold. We talked about being bold last week, remember? And stand up and say that that's what you want. Say that you want more. It is scary and it's risky, but it is so worth it. And maybe you just needed someone to tell you that you're worth it, that this business is worth it, that what you're going to gain from actively growing it is going to actively grow you. I am here to tell you today that it is worth it and that you can do this if you want to. So, hobbyists, I love you and you know it, but I just get this gut feeling that if you're here and you keep showing up, there's a little bit more in you. Okay? There, I said it. That was my rant for the day about the hobbyists. So, let's dive into all the goods. We're going to dive into my second year of direct sales. And you guys, it's really messy and it's not all pretty and there's not a pretty bow on it. I'm just going to tell you right now because I really did struggle with this year. But let me quickly set the stage. So this is November of 2008 to November of 2009. That was my second year in direct sales. I was 25 years old. I had a baby girl and I was pregnant with baby number 2. So right before November, literally October 31st of 2008, I promoted to the highest title in our company, and I will never forget that moment. It was huge. I felt like I was on top of the world, like I'd climbed this huge mountain, and there I stood, like on top of it, and it was an incredible feeling. And what transpired after that in the next year really showed my pride in feeling that way. Now listen, I'm not saying that we shouldn't be proud of things that we've accomplished or that we've worked hard for. We absolutely should. That is not what I'm saying. But I think that we've got to be careful that being proud of something that we did doesn't become arrogance or pride. Pride is different. And there was a lot of pride that I didn't know and I couldn't see. And I think that's the thing about pride and arrogance. Like we can't see it sometimes, right? Usually if you're in the middle of it, you can't see it. And you guys, looking back at year 2, there was a lot of arrogance and pride. And I don't like to sit here and tell you that. It's like yucky and feels gross, but it's just the truth of it. So following that promotion, my second year in the business was a big one. I was doing this full time. I quit my teaching job in the spring of 2008. So I've been doing it full time really since June. I taught through May and then I was doing it full time since June. Promoting to the highest title meant that I had at least 4 leaders underneath me. Now, one of the things I did that was a mistake, and I'm going to tell you right now it was a mistake, was that I kept leading my leaders' teams, even though they were now in a leadership position where they should have been leading their own teams, because I was home working this business, right, full time. And they still had full-time jobs. So I just kept acting as a leader for everyone as our business continued to grow exponentially. I'm going to tell you a little bit more and a little bit about why it was not good. And I didn't know it. It felt like a good thing to do. It felt like the right thing to do. It felt like, oh, you can't lead right now. I'll do it for you because I can. And it was a big mistake. And we'll get there in a little bit. So fast forward to the beginning of 2009, I was pregnant, had a toddler at home, and running this business, which was quickly growing, right? I was juggling a lot, and I thought I was doing a pretty great job doing it on my own, right? A little bit of arrogance. I had this thing under control. I was making it happen. Like I was doing the thing. So I got to speak at a regional training that was held in Oklahoma City. I was very pregnant. And Brian got to meet the owner of our company for the first time, which was also a really pivotal moment for us because he really got bought into the mission and the potential of this business that I think he had never really seen before. Now, a caveat on that, speaking for the first time was super scary. And those of you who are stepping up and being brave and getting on a stage somewhere and taking those opportunities to lead and to train, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm not saying thank you because of what it's doing for other people and how you're encouraging other people. That is important. What I'm doing is saying thank you for what it's going to do for you. I don't think anybody ever decides that they're going to lead a training or step up to speak and think, this is amazing and easy. I'm so glad that I'm getting to do this. Most people are scared to death. And it is a very scary thing, but it's also such a huge potential for growth. And everybody has a first time. Like everybody has a first time they get on stage. And I think that it's one of those things that you remember. Everybody has the first time they get in front of a camera, first time they go live, whatever, right? And you remember those things. And then we grow in and through them. So speaking was super scary, but it was also one of those big pivotal moments for me, right? So just literally 3 days after I got to speak on stage, I went into labor. Actually, my water broke. My water broke, went into labor. And baby number 2, well, that's weird. Oh, well, if you're on YouTube, we're still live, I think. Hey, YouTube. Sorry, YouTube. Hold on one second. We gotta go back live. Facebook. I don't know what happened. It literally just went away. I do not know why. So strange. So strange. That was one of the weirdest things that's ever happened. Like, sometimes it'll freeze up and do weird things, but this was not that. This was it just like gone. It was just gone all of a sudden. So bizarre. Y'all back? How you doing? We're doing okay? Okay. Cool. Okay. Sorry. We were still live on YouTube, so I don't know what happened, but we're back. We are back. People are texting me that I'm gone. I'm back now. Okay. I don't know why that happened. So strange. Okay, so sorry, YouTube. They've been here the whole time. It was so weird. Okay, so I think that my water broke. Maybe that's what happened. Facebook didn't like that. My water broke and I went into labor. And our second baby decided to come 4 weeks early. Now, again, I want you to put your feet in the ground and think about like the situation. So many of you have situations that you're walking through in your life as you're navigating running your business and taking care of your family and all of the things that go along with that, right? So this was one of those big things, like we're having a baby 4 weeks early. Here we go. So went into labor. Luke was born, and it was sort of in that season that my leaders sort of rallied around me. And what I had been doing to lead their teams, it became very evident very quickly that I wasn't going to be able to do it anymore. And actually, there had been a point before that, as we were leading up to the end of this pregnancy, where I realized, like, I can't keep leading your teams. And I don't know I actually don't think that I was resentful at all. I think it just became too much too fast. So I was trying to lead separate teams. I was trying to recognize and encourage and all of the things, and I couldn't do it. And here's the thing, we're not meant to do it. And that's why it's structured the way it is so that you don't have to carry the weight by yourself as the whole thing grows, which it will. So I just got to this point where I knew when this pregnancy happened, I was not going to be able to take care of their teams anymore. And so I had already mentioned to them, like, hey, I'm going to have to like transition this back over to you. And they were all amazing. And what's funny is I wasn't leading their teams because they couldn't handle it or because they didn't want to. I was just leading their teams because I thought this is the nice thing to do. Like, this is what I should do, right? They're working full time. I should take over leading their teams. It just wasn't wise. It wasn't wise for any of us. So anyways, when I realized baby's coming, I'm not going to be able to lead their teams anymore. I kind of hand the reins back over. And actually, I think I didn't do it before he was born because I thought I still had another month. Well, when he was born, obviously, then everything was like, now my leaders are going to have to take back over their teams. And they did, and they were fantastic. And here's the coolest part. This is why it wasn't wise in the beginning. And this is why I still don't do it to this day. Because when I got out of the way, they rose to the challenge like nothing I had ever seen. I mean, two of my first 4 directors are not in the business anymore. 2 of them still are. Jacqueline Roy is one of them, and Jana Holcomb. And I got to watch them all of a sudden step into their own leadership, step into their own style, step into their own power, basically, and start to lead their teams. And it was really, really incredible to watch. Because what I didn't realize I was doing by leading their teams is I was holding them back. They were capable of doing it on their own. And I think I was under this false belief that this is a 40-hour-a-week gig when you're a leader, and it's not, and it shouldn't be. And if that's something you've been struggling with, you're thinking, I don't have time to lead. You've got to look at how you're leading. You've got to look at what example you're setting, because if you're the leader leading the team, and I'm someone working to build a business behind you, and you are exhausted and you are stretched thin and you are doing too much, tell me why I would want to grow my business and make it become, or like get it to the level you've gotten into. I wouldn't. So one of the biggest lessons I learned really early on, and it wasn't because I had the foresight or the knowledge to see it, it was simply out of circumstance. This baby came, I can't lead your teams anymore. And we all had to look at it and say, okay, they have full-time jobs. They can still lead their teams, and not stress out their family and their life. I really think now versus then, we are doing too much. And not in a way that's helpful, not in a way that's actively growing your business the way it should be. We're doing too much because we're seeing too much. And then what happens is we get burnt out. And there's just no reason for it anymore. We do not need to be burnt out. We do not need to be overwhelmed. Even in a leadership position, this is not a 40-hour-a-week job. And if you are modeling that, I would say you've got to take a good hard look at the tasks you're doing, what is coming out of those tasks, and if they're actually growing and moving your business forward. Okay? Y'all doing okay? I only have 10 minutes left because I said I was going to go 30 minutes. Let's see if I can get through the rest of this. I don't even know if y'all are commenting. Because I don't know. I feel like Facebook is just being weird. I can see the YouTube comments, which I said I wasn't going to look at comments, but it's very bizarre. Okay. So that's what happened when this baby was born. The other thing that happened is we closed on our dream house, what I thought was our dream house, literally, I think 4 days after he was born. And the day that we closed on what I thought was our dream house, and I say that because that's not the house we live in anymore, we got a call from our pediatrician, and we had to go immediately to Children's Hospital because Luke's bilirubin count was so high. So then I found myself not only with a baby that came 4 weeks early, but now a baby that would battle jaundice for 6 weeks. We spent 24 hours in the NICU, it's not called the NICU, once you go out, the PICU, whatever. IV in his head, baby goggles on, laying in the baby tanning bed. And it was traumatic and awful, but it was also a really great time to watch and see that my business did not need my hands on it all the time for it to run. And Brian brought this up today. He said, you've got to look at your business and say, could it function without me? So if I hadn't prepped my leaders to lead their own teams, if I hadn't been doing the prep work and backing off a little bit from the things that I was doing, it would have been more detrimental to my business. But I was ready to hand the reins over to my leaders. I was ready to do less in this newborn phase. And I got to see that realistically, my business didn't need my hands on it 24 hours a day, every single day of the week, or not even that, but it didn't need me substantially like I thought that it did. So it's something to think about and consider. Okay. I'm gonna go back to my notes. I think the coolest thing from that whole, when I look back on that season, was watching my leaders lead and watching them rise to the occasion. And also watching my team essentially take care of itself for a season. And there was beautiful grace in all of it. And they just all rose to the challenge. So I would have to ask you, because the reality is life is going to happen. That's just a life circumstance. You can sit on the excuse of circumstance all the day long. There's a circumstance every freaking week in our household. Something happens. And I could let circumstance be the excuse that keeps me from building something beautiful, or I could build something beautiful in spite of circumstance. Listen, it's going to happen. You've got to look at your business and say, am I ready for whatever comes my way? Have I set myself up to be prepared, or am I really just putting myself in a hole where this is going to take me and only me to run it? You don't want that kind of business. Nobody does. Okay. So back to that second year of business. I got to go on my first incentive trip, which was amazing and a game changer. We went to Banff, Canada. It was beautiful. We got to take that sweet baby with us. He was 3 months old and he was a trooper. And he really, really brags on being the first kid in our house to have his own passport. His first passport was a tiny baby picture, where we had to hold his head up. And that's a cool, fun thing to do. So that was fun. I also went to a leadership training in Boise that year in July. I got to go with my mom, which was really cool. And I built some really great relationships there that are still great friends now. Then in August, we went to reunion. And this is the messy, sticky, gross part. And I'm just going to be very honest with you. I don't think I've told this story very often. And this is going to be the part that has the action step for you. So we went to our big convention, and it was in Salt Lake City, and it was my second one. I had gone to one the year before in my first year, and this was the first time my husband got to go. And so he got to go. He's bought in. He sees the vision. He's here for all of it. It was an awesome convention, and I got nominated for Shining Star Award, which is peer nominated, one of the highest awards that you could get. And I was elated and over the moon, obviously, who wouldn't be? And this is the part that is so gross. When I look back at that time, I really thought that I deserved it. I thought that I should win. And let me tell you, the people that I stood on that stage next to were the most incredible people in the world. Now I'm I pretty much just beg them for information and help. They are my mentors and people that were incredible. But I really thought that I deserved it. So this goes back to, I promoted to the highest title, did all these things, rocking mom life, working this thing, taking care of my leaders' teams. You guys, I thought I was doing it all on my own. I really did. And I just need you to know today that wherever you're at in this business, you could be on top of the mountain or you could be climbing the mountain. You're not doing it alone. You're not. I mean, I think about it now and I think it's hysterical that I thought that I did it on my own. I mean, look at God. Like there were things that happened in ways that my business grew that I never could have done on my own. I never could have done. And there got to be some pride and some arrogance that I couldn't see. I had no idea. And I don't know, like, I haven't asked anybody. I don't know, like, if you knew me back then in that season, like, if you would say that that's what it was. I don't know. But I can look back now, 10 years later, and say, it was that. There was some pride and there was some arrogance, and I thought I was doing it on my own. And let me tell you, in this business, that's going to be a huge mistake every time, to believe that you're doing it on your own. Because if you're standing on top of the mountain, you know what? You took a whole bunch of people up there with you. You don't get to the top of the mountain without other people. You literally cannot be successful in this business by yourself. So the pride and the arrogance, it cannot last. It just can't. And I think and here's one of my favorite things about that convention. I did not win Shining Star that year. Praise the Lord. Because that would have just escalated probably the arrogance. I didn't win. And what happened the next year was a deep, hard, fast fall down the other side of the mountain. Oh, and I can't wait to tell you about it. I think year 3 is one of my favorites when I think about it. But I thought a little bit too highly of myself. And I will say, I think that we all walk through seasons of that. And what's funny is I was not confident. There is a difference in confidence and arrogance, a huge difference. I was prideful of what I had done, but I did not have confidence in who I was. And I wish back then that I could have known the difference and been able to see that I lacked confidence in who I was. Could I do the things? Yes. But was I confident in who I was? No, not at all. That year, everybody that got nominated that didn't win got this beautiful crystal clock. It's a little crystal clock. It sits in my bathroom. And the symbolism of it to me now is huge, because it was a quick and fast reminder that it is not your time. It's not your time. And it would take so much time for me to, 1, be able to see my pride, and then 2, be able to look inward and say, maybe I am prideful, but I am not confident, and learn how to gain the confidence. So I told Brian, I have a really hard time with this year because I can see the lesson it was for me. But it's harder for me to see the lesson for you. I honestly, maybe you are battling some pride and arrogance and you don't know it. And this is an eye opener to say, oh, maybe I am that. But I think more than anything, the lesson from me to you is about confidence. You can be confident without being prideful. Confidence comes from who you are on the inside. It comes from the good and the bad and the ugly and the beautiful. It comes from everything you've walked through. It comes from the moments that have shaped who you are and who you're becoming. That's where confidence comes from. I don't care if you can do the thing, because just being able to do the thing and lacking confidence, it's not going to take you all the way. It's not going to get you the result that you need long term. But digging deep down and finding confidence in who you are and what you've walked through, that's the thing that'll change your business. That's the thing that will change who you are and how people see you. And confidence and arrogance are very different. Confidence and pride are very different. So my challenge to you today is for you to do some digging and some reflection on how you see yourself. Because if I were honest about that second year of business, I would say that I saw myself as a bad word. I really did. Like, I was like, I'm pretty freaking awesome. That's how I saw myself. But it is not how I felt on the inside. So yes, there was pride and there was arrogance. And I had this feeling of, look what I did. When really what should have happened is I should have been saying, look at God. Look what he did. Through me, in me, yes, but not what I did. And I think the next year was, like I said, a tumble down the side of the hill, figuring out that, yeah, you didn't do that. You did good work, but it was not all you. And I needed to be humbled. I needed to see that I wasn't the only one, doing great things. And, I had this thought yesterday, and I actually almost got on social media, posted. I haven't posted anything on social media in months and months and months. And I thought, I don't know, I'm going to wait. Maybe I'll share it after this. I had this thought. We don't need other people to get out of the way, to move, to make way for us. You do not need to move somebody out of the way so you can rise. You don't. I didn't. You don't. We don't need other people to get out of our way. We just need to create space for ourselves to stand up. That's all we need to do. And I think that in that season of my life, I was a little bit of a bulldozer and like, watch out, here I come. Like, get out of the way. I am coming through. And I didn't really know it then, but I can look back now and see it. And what I really needed to know was I just needed to create my own space. And when you are confident in who you are, you can stand up and create your own space. And when you have your own space, you can stand up. You can rise. You can become who you were created to be. I don't need you to change. I don't need you to move anybody out of the way. I need you to actually be who you are. Sometimes our lack of confidence gets hidden behind arrogance and pride. Look what I did. Look what I can do. Look what I used to do. And that becomes prideful. What I need from you today, and what I learned, I didn't learn it then. I don't really know what I learned that year, honestly, except that my leaders could lead, and that would be better for everybody if they actually did. But there was a season of arrogance and pride that needed to be replaced with confidence, quiet courage. And it would take me years and years to learn that. So this week, your action step is I want you to do some digging, and I want you to see where you're confident, not where you're prideful, not where you're arrogant, but where are you confident? Your confidence is going to come from things that you've walked through. It's funny. I don't think our confidence comes from, it doesn't. I just have this realization. It doesn't. Our confidence doesn't come through our accomplishments. Our confidence comes through our trials. That's just really true. You guys, this is how my brain works sometimes. Usually, hopefully, I get these ideas before I'm live on camera, but today, nope, right now. What came from the accomplishments, the things that I did, the things that I achieved, that was arrogance and that was pride. But later, the hard things that I would walk through in motherhood, in my marriage, in my health, all of those things later on, those hard things, that's where I would gain confidence in my business, in my life, in who I am as a person and a woman and a child of God. But it came from hardship. So I just want to encourage you today, if you're walking through something hard, which so many of us are, we don't let those things define us, but we grow through them. And as we grow through the hard things, we gain confidence in who we were created to be. So I only went 7 minutes over. This week, action step. Where are you confident? And what has helped build your confidence? It's not a question you have to answer for anybody else, but it's a question you need to answer for yourself. I would say, I'm going to do this too. I would say that sitting down to journal about what you're confident about and why would be hugely beneficial. And I would say looking at those things, those hard things that you've walked through, what has made you confident? Earning a title, earning an award, reaching a goal, none of those things made me confident. They made me prideful, but not confident. So what is it that's going to make you confident? Those things matter. I haven't seen a single one of your comments, which means I don't know what it means. I guess because I said I wasn't going to read comments, no comments showed up. So I don't know if you have been stone cold silent or if you've been saying things and I can't see that. I guess I'll find out in a minute. So I know this isn't like super motivational, but it is incredibly reflective. And sometimes we need seasons of, I just need to be reflective. What am I confident about? I hope this was helpful to you. I did really struggle with, I'm not really sure what the lesson is for them. But I'll just trust that it spoke to some of you and gave you something that you needed. So I love you guys. I hope you're having a great week and that your week continues to get better. I don't know when we're live again. Next week, I know we are, and then I know we're not the week after that. So I literally do not have it in front of me. Oh, wait, yes, I do. Hold on. I'll tell you just in case you want to write it down and you want to join us live next week. Oh, same time next week. Next Thursday at 11 o'clock Central, we'll be live again. So there you have it. And then we'll be off the week after that and then back the next week. So love y'all. Hope this was helpful. Again, no idea because I can't see your comments, but I guess I'll find out later. Have a great week. I hope you join us next week as I push you to dream bigger, work smarter, change yourself, and change the world. Love y'all.